Jordan Watkins was my very first childhood love. His fiery red hair, gingery complexion, and round, soft, chubby cheeks set my heart pounding a mile a minute. I pursued Jordan from the beginning of my 7th grade year, all the way up until December of my 8th grade year, when he finally asked me to be his girlfriend. I was enthralled. I have a lot to attribute to Jordan Watkins. If it weren't for him, I wouldn't even have a church family. In my swift pursuit of this young man, I followed him everywhere, including the church that I now feel at home in. Jordan and I continued to date through the remainder of 8th grade. We endured the trying summer between middle school and high school, and he even stuck around long enough to be my very first homecoming date my freshman year. I was in love. I was sure of it. Slowly, I felt my sweet, sweet, gingery love bug start to pull away from me. You see, Jordan was a football player, and football players hang out with cheerleaders, volleyball players, and other female athletes. I, sadly, have never quite been the athletic type. I'm the type that feels at home on the stage. I love to sing, act, and dance, even though it's not the strongest of the talents that I bring to the table. I've always been the outgoing, theatrical type, a little weird, but very friendly. I've also always been the kid that never messes up and manages to spend a good 12 hours at church every Sunday and at least 4 hours at youth group every Wednesday night. Sometimes my weird friendliness would bring people to misjudge me. Once a week, I would celebrate what I came to call Bright Day, when I would wear as many colors as possible without repeating the same color twice. I was quite the sight. It was things like these that Jordan used to love about me. But my ability to be outgoing and fun-loving, sadly, were also the attributes that drove him away. His football friends began to question his motives for dating me, wondering why he would choose someone so weird. I mean, I was literally a Jesus freak. Soon, Jordan began to ask himself the same questions. On October 10th, 2006, I experienced my very first broken heart. Lucky for me, it was in my youth group and my theater friends that I found the most consolation. My theater friends loved me for the me that I was, not the cheerleader that I wasn't. Since I stopped spending so much time invested in my relationship with Jordan, I was able to invest in a relationship with them. I took time to focus on and cultivate my singing and acting skills, and to truly dedicate myself to my passion for musical theater. My passion and talent didn't always get recognized, though. I was one of the few freshmen that had to spend another year in my JV musical theater class instead of getting bumped up to varsity. And in my freshman and sophomore years of theater, I only got so much as one line in each production that we did. Although I was passionate and had various vocal instructors, teachers, and trusted friends telling me time and time again how much talent I had, I never seemed to reap any benefits. As time passed, Jordan and I were able to get over the bumps of our nasty breakup. We actually became really good friends. In fact, I would say that for all of my sophomore year, Jordan was my best friend. I've always been the type to have groups of friends, never just one that I could spend time with one-on-one. But with Jordan, I was able to have a comfortable one-on-one friendship. In the back of my mind, I'd always secretly hoped that Jordan and I would get back together, but it never happened. Soon, other boys began to make their way into my life. At the beginning of the summer between my sophomore and junior year, I began dating David. David was 6'3", with blonde hair and gorgeous blue eyes. He was also MVP on the high school hockey team and his select hockey team. He was quite the catch. David and I got pretty serious pretty quickly. All the time that I had spent with Jordan and my theater friends, and even my youth group, I now spent with David. We were inseparable. Since some of my friends in my youth group were also in theater, Jordan began hanging out with them a lot. I'd replaced him with David, and he had replaced me with people who used to be my friends. It wasn't long until Jordan started dating one of my fellow thespians, a really pretty, extremely talented, hilariously funny girl named Tasha. When I found out, I immediately began to be tormented by jealousy. Even though I had David right beside me, I began to feel alone and betrayed. Jordan had let our friendship go by the wayside, and I was angry with Tasha for not even taking into consideration that I might object to her dating my ex-boyfriend. Tasha and Jordan began to be as inseparable as David and me. That summer, they spent all of their time together, hanging out with other theater people. I couldn't believe it. Jordan, a big, bad football player, was spending all of his time with people who were just like me, even though he broke my heart to get away from my theatrical persona. I felt like Tasha and I were almost exactly alike. and he had just gotten back into a relationship that he was so eager to give up only 1 year earlier. In fact, Tasha even convinced him to join theater halfway through our junior year. Even without an audition, Jordan got put into the varsity class. It took me 2 years of grueling auditioning and proving myself to get into the varsity class. Needless to say, I was thoroughly peeved. All was not lost, though. We had a big musical coming up, and there was a part in it that was perfect for me. I could hit all of the notes with ease, and the sweet comedic demeanor of one of the female leads was, of course, very easy for me to imitate. I was a shoo-in for the role, and I nailed the audition. When it was Tasha's turn, I was sure to listen very closely to the door. Since she had betrayed me for Jordan, she wasn't exactly my most favorite person in the world. And to be honest, I wanted nothing more for her to fail miserably. She didn't even know the words to the song, and she wasn't near as strong a belter as I was. I was able to walk away with the quiet satisfaction that I had her beat. Much to my dismay, the cast list reflected everything very differently. Our director casted based on politics, not talent. Tasha got the part I wanted, and I was infuriated. This was going to be my 3rd straight year in ensemble, and on top of that, Jordan even got a role. The new kid got a principal role in the play. I was more mad and upset than I'd ever felt in my entire life. I had dedicated so much time and effort to theater. I loved theater, and the people least deserving of the roles beat me for the part. I spent a lot of time angry with God. I knew that I had clearly been more superior on the basis of talent and morality. Why was he going to let me suffer? He had blessed me with a talent and passion for performing. Why was he letting it get overlooked? As a result of this of intensive rehearsals that came with their roles in the show, Jordan and Tasha missed most of youth group junior year. This only made me more and more upset. They were rejecting God and getting to have fun in theater, while I was spending my time diligently working to get to know him better. Why, God, would you do something like that to me, your child? I've only stood by you. I've only sought to please you. I've only ever wanted to use the talents you have given me to bring you glory. Our merciful God soon answered my infuriated pleas. He pushed my heart to leave the theater program. For my birthday that year, I got a guitar. Now I am the worship leader for the youth at my church on Wednesday nights, and I've never been more pleased with the way that he has led me. The Lord blessed me with these experiences in my life, and now I get to rejoice in using them to help bring him glory. God is good all the time, even when our hearts may not be. Where are you in the story?